Hi, you're tuning into IfDot's Gear Discussion 2025. I figured that once a year I was going to do like a gear update, and now is as good a time as any to talk about all of the groove boxes that I have, which one I think is the best, right? So we're going to talk about the model cycles, Polyend Tracker, SP404 Mark II, the Digitakt, the model samples, two others that don't fit in this pile. Anyways, let's cut to the first one. You thought the first one would be the model cycles, didn't you? No, I feel like the model samples is very important to talk about first. It's the one that I used first, and I like it, but there's just a bunch of stuff that feels like it's missing. It's not as intuitive and straightforward for me, and maybe that's just because I like synthesis more than samples. More on that later. But like the comparison between the digitone and the model cycles is not stark. And the comparison between this and the model samples, just in terms of like immediate playability and usability as a groove box, it feels much rougher. I think it's partially because there's no equivalent to the chord machine, so you have to have like 6 notes, or you have to pre-play in your chords, and that feels kind of weird. But I'm constantly sort of either running out of lanes, or I'm trying to do something in the box like can only approximate it, and that's something that really sucks, especially right now, because the model samples is not worth that much less than the Digitakt. Now you might wonder, why do you have the Digitakt 1 and not the Digitakt 2? I actually had the Digitakt 2 and the Digitone 2, but I traded both of those. I don't have them anymore. I'm sure you saw the Digitone 2 in a bunch of my videos earlier if you've watched my channel. But I did that because I realized when I make music, I do so with the Push, like in Ableton. So I traded them for a Push 3 standalone. But I'll talk about that near the end of the video, I think. The Digitakt is great. It's got 8 lanes instead of 6 like the model samples. It does resampling. I've never felt that the Digitakt was like really intuitive for me. The electron sequencing has been, but that's only because I got the model cycles. And the model cycles is really, it's my favorite entry-level groove box. I've got a lot of them. I really like the engines here. There's 6 of them. They all make different things. Some of them are really limited, some of them are really vast, but there's a chord engine, so you can play a bunch of different chords, you can bounce the chords off between each other, and even though it's just like little snippets of a large FM engine, it's way more varied than you would expect from that description. You have 6 machines and you only have 4 knobs that can really change stuff. You don't even have a ADSR. You have decay, and that's it. But this is just a box it punches way, way above its weight class. It punches way above what you would expect from it. I have like 40 patterns on this, 99 is the limit. And I really enjoy the process of working with it. It's really fast and easy to make new stuff. If there's one thing you take away from this video, it should probably be the model cycles kicks ass. Anyways, let's talk about something else. This is my second favorite machine. You can tell I have a custom faceplate for it. And you might wonder, why would you use the 404 Mark II? It's almost the exact opposite in terms of having a good workflow in comparison to the electrons. But I use it as an effects box. And as an effects box, it's so much more hands-on and versatile and just good in comparison to anything else I've used. Especially if you're using synthesizers on, a table. You've got like 32 effects, something like that, maybe 40. And you've got the knobs here, so it's very like hands-on, changing everything. And the effects, they're not like amazing, but they're really good. And you have a lot of like lo-fi effects. I really like lo-fi. You have the slicer, and you can put effects into your effects bus and just use so many of them. I've never felt like I'm lacking an effect with the SP404. And on top of that, if you want, it is actually really fun to like go in and make songs with the 404. I found that I don't really enjoy using the sequencing on it at all though. So I made an album with the 404 Mark II for January last year. And what I did with that was I played everything into a DAW and I arranged it in the DAW, but I played everything from the 404 and that felt really nice. You're making streams of audio, you're editing the audio streams, and then you're putting it into a DAW where you can clean the rest of it up. And yeah, I think just in terms of like, if you don't think about making music and making sounds as sequencing, and you think about it more as you're mangling audio to make it have a specific flavor, I think the 404 is really hard to beat. I would never recommend having this as your only device and your first device unless you're like really dedicated to it. You know you're going to like fight with it and you're okay with that. And you just want something that feels like a little more like an instrument, right? All right, let's talk about some other stuff. So this is the Polyend Tracker. I owned a Polyend Tracker, sold it because I never used it. I actually traded my Norn Shield for this because I never used the Norn Shield. So I was like, I'll do something I never use for something else I never use. And I really like the Polyend Tracker. The thing that I missed about it was the jog wheel. It sounds really nice, it feels really nice, and the buttons are also like, it's just the tactile experience of using the Polyend Tracker is nice in a way that I don't think many other devices are. However, it's a little kind of weak in some ways. There's 2 effects per step, and one of the effects is sub timing, if you want to use that. And it's hard for some of the instruments to sound good. I still haven't found a way to make the wavetable synth in it sound good, but it uses micro SDs. That's really nice. And it still gets updates, and the Polyend, this isn't the Plus, it's the original. So that's also really nice. And I like just having all the all the buttons here. So it's reasonably straightforward. There's some tracker stuff that's annoying, but like in general, I don't have that many problems with it. It just doesn't grab me. All right, I'm gonna talk about the new thing now. This is the SH4D. Initially, I was just going to make a video talking about it only, but I realized that I wanted to talk about the model cycles more, so I figured I'll just have this be my 2025 video. I've only used this for 3 or 4 days, but I really like it actually. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. The 2.0 update added micro steps, which are really important for the way that I use this sort of device, especially with there's only 64 steps in a pattern total. So it's nice to be able to like use those a little more efficiently. There's some baffling omissions. Even though there are subtracks, you can't record into the subtracks. So if you use live record, which you just do that, it doesn't record into them. And there's just stuff that it feels like it should be there and it's missing, which there's other stuff that it doesn't feel like it should be there that it has. That stuff's really nice. And if you feel like that stuff is more important than the stuff I'm talking about, maybe this is perfect for you. Like there's an EQ per part and then per rhythm, like instrument. And each instrument is a sample. The samples are really good. There's like a really corny piano in it, right? It's very flexible in a weird way. And there's so many things here that it's very hands-on. You can see like in comparison to every other device I've shown you, the screen is smaller, but there's a trazillion more knobs. And I really love that design. I wish more things were like this. And I'm hopeful that the update will be nice. All right, let's talk about the last thing. You already know what it is. Push 3 standalone. I like the Push. I have a Push 2. And for most people, I would recommend just getting the Push 2. It's cheaper, and I haven't felt like I'm missing anything when I use the Push 2 attached to my computer. The Push 2 is actually behind all of these things and is attached to my computer right now. And this obviously isn't. Right? But it's standalone, so I can play out with it. And that's why I bought it. I wanted to take things from live and then go out and like play a live show. We'll see if that happens. I've used this on a live stream once and it crashed. So my hope is that that never happens again, and then I feel like it's very sturdy, but we'll see. I really enjoy using Dyad by Fours on this. There's a bunch of different like Max for Live devices. I made a Max for Live device. Actually buying this is what made me start making Max for Live devices. So I'm really happy with it because I started making stuff for my own Push 3, and now I feel like I know a bit more about making audio plugins. So yeah, I think that that's all I wanted to talk about. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And I'm probably going to post something with the SH4D soon, but we'll see. All right, bye.